guessing, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Buggy like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. How y'all doing tonight? Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live, man. We up in this one, repping the mighty Who Dat Nation. Shout out to the fam for being in this one, man. We up in this thing, man. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let me give y'all a round of applause, man. Big ups to y'all, man. All right, big ups to everybody in the building. I see y'all, KTOG, Desi, Backwoods, big ups to you. What's up, Kelvin? Shout out to you, brother. Pelicans, Nola is in this thing as well. What's up, Jeffrey? Shout out to you. NFL season kicks off in 5 days, brother Willie. Much love. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being. What's up, Jayden? Shout out to Jayden as well. Much love. OG. It's on the way, brother. It's on the way. All right, much love, fam. Appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, James Jr.? How you doing, man? He says Kirk Cousins starting next year. What we talk about for not for us? Shit, we don't need no Kirk Cousins, brother. We don't need his cousins, his brothers, none of that. We don't need none of that, brother. We good with what we got right here. All right, big ups to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. But listen, fam, we're gonna just talk a little Saints on this Saturday night. Hope you guys have had a pretty good weekend as we are in the Saturday night, man. Much love to the fam on this one, man. And we're going to go over a few things, man. What's been happening, of course, the Saints were off today. And a couple of news notes and items. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Do me the service by hitting the like button. What's up, Gregory? Shout out to Greg for being in the stream, man. And we're going to go over a few news notes and items for the Saints during day 3. Now, this is day 3 of camp that happened. Of course, I think one of the biggest talking points of camp up to this point was the fact that the Saints really kind of put in, they threw Jake Haener in at the first team, and they talk about him doing it. And Kellen Moore kind of reiterated the point that it is a quarterback competition, and giving Jake Haener an opportunity to compete for the job. Now, is it a foregone conclusion to think that Jake Haener can, could he possibly usurp a move past Tyler Shough and or Spencer Rattler in the rotation to become a quarterback? Now, there are ways this could happen. Of course, we could see a guy like Haener. Listen, man, all I know is the only thing Jake Haener did as of work would take those silly ass pictures. Outside of that, I haven't really seen anything that screams NFL quarterback. But listen, but jokes aside, they're giving him an opportunity to step up and see if he can seize the day. It's a long shot, but in the end, a competition's a competition, right? Fair is fair, right? All is fair. in love and war. It ain't no love, but it definitely gonna be some warring for that QB spot. But a lot of people, such as myself, think that Haener is basically hanging on for the third quarterback position. But things could change. Injury, God forbid, could hit the room. Things could get jolted a little bit there, and we'll see what Jake Haener is. He is the most experienced quarterback on the roster currently. Jake Haener's been in the for the Saints now for three years now. So he got to be learning something, right? I mean, he got to be learning something, right? What's up, Young City? Shout out to you. All right, Jeff says, "Bet we don't know the starter win." I don't know. I think we probably it's going to be between 1 or 2, barring injury, right? Yeah, I know, fam. People gotta figure that with the Jake Haener thing, but at the end of the day, it simply is what it is. Shout out to the Saints Wire, man. Let's jump right into it. We're gonna cover a few news, notes, and items and talk some Saints stuff tonight. Jake Haener, not Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough, leads Saints first string offense. We know that this was something that they were going to take turns doing. We knew that each quarterback outside of Hunter's Deckers, I don't think Hunter Decker is going to be doing the first team offense, but Kellen Moore, I mean, he is a fair man, obviously, right? He wants to see what all of these guys have with his very own eyes. And each one of them had an opportunity to kind of jump in there in day 3 and try to lead. Each one had an opportunity to run the team, the first unit, and see how things worked and goes. So, like I said, man, we shall see how it all looks and how the breakdown goes. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I just want to see a fair competition. Perhaps Jake Haener learned something, fam. Perhaps Jake Haener learned something to operate the quarterback position, right? Shout out to Canal Street Chronicles. They did one. Shout out to Tina. Kellen Moore, he talked about doing it. Then, of course, they had some stats that they did in a really good article. Y'all check them out. And they kind of basically broke down statistically outside of the eye test how some of these guys did. You see not Spencer, but Jake Haener did throw a touchdown pass. He threw a little, he wasn't exactly a spiral, but he got it out there, right? Then again, he's not known for having a big arm after all. He was an accurate guy in college, to say the least. But the QB battle won, according to this, and this is a good article right here. Spencer Rattler at QB1 quarterback battles now in full swing. It appears to be second-year quarterback Spencer Rattlers to lose. And we said that we started the year off that the eye test is like Spencer Rattler is a guy that we knew was working out this entire offseason, right? Taking full opportunity to go in there, handle the business. He was serious, his demeanor. We played the interview where he was, who was that? He was on NFL talking to Rich Eisen. And Rich Eisen was asking him questions, trying to shake him up on his past. Now, some of that stuff is a little sensitive, but you can see that he's well-schooled, well-trained to talk to the media. You never see too much of a rise in terms of his emotional state. He's always calm, measured, has really, smoothly steps aside items that is a chip. You know what I'm saying? Those damn items are a chip. The items that he's dealing with are definitely chip items. And what I mean by chip items, I mean that these things that, the situation that occurred with him when he went to South Carolina, they touched on that. His draft status being picked up at the 5th round as a 5th round selection, right? Chip. Now he said, I guess it's a little bit of chip. Now everything is a chip. The guy is a big potato chip right now, right? He plays with chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove to himself, if not to everybody else, right? So he coming in, he looks measured. Now Tyler Shough looks every bit of a big quarterback, 6'5", strong arm, can move around real good. When he puts it all together, he's gonna be a tough character to deal with. But that's what we said before the season actually got here was in terms of the training camp was we knew that Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler were gonna iron sharpen iron here, right? None of these guys, they have the same temperament, like the same stuff that motivates them, right? They got something to prove. Spencer saying, hey, man, I'm better than this 5th round spot. and Shough saying, hey, man, I am this guy. I am proving, I'm going to show y'all that I am where they say that they picked me at in the draft. So both of them got different motivations, very similar to make it. So either way, whoever wins, that's what I've been saying. Whoever wins, we win because these guys have what it takes on the inside and up here to lead a team. These are leader types. That's in with tough demeanors. That's what we need here. Not crybabies, not guys with eyeliner running around, point fingers, making excuses and all this kind of flim-flammy stuff. We don't need all of this crap going on here. We need people here that's serious about winning and committed to making the steps necessary to get the team back on where it belongs, right? That's all we can ask for here. Anyway, getting right back to the article here. 5th round pick was able to spread the ball out and find the most efficient target on the majority of his attempts. His play of the day would be a deep gain to a streaking Mason Tipton. He laid that one out. Jake Haener came in despite many believing the QB1 competition was between only Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler. Kellen Moore reiterated that Jake Haener is a factor too. Haener worked with the first team on Friday, started strong. He went 7 of 7. Went through the 7-on-7 drills and finished the day going 8 of 11 between both drills and on the 7-on-7s. Haener was decisive during his reps, didn't force many bad plays. Now, the third-year quarterback spoke with the media earlier, acknowledging that many believe that he is a long shot for the job, and he displayed professionalism and confidence in his ability to come out victorious. Now, the reality is, the reason why people think that is because, we've taken a quarterback every year for the last 3 years. You took Jake Haener under the Carmichael administration, offensive coordinator speaking, right? We took Spencer Rattler under the Kubiak administration, and then we take Tyler Shough under the Nussmeier administration. 3 straight different offensive coordinators, 3 straight quarterbacks. What are they doing? They're trying to find a guy to run their system, right? And of course, the choice, if you ask McHugh, who is the Kellen Moore going to choose or who he really wants, he wants Tyler Shough to win the job because it makes him look good for taking him in the 2nd round. And it validates his scouting of him despite the red flags, the injury flags, this type of stuff, the 1-year experience. It validates him. Plus, it's the quarterback that he feels best represents running his style of offense, right? Even though Kellen Moore has worked with damn near most of the top type of quarterbacks, whether it was working with Dakota Prescott out there in Dallas, or whether he was working with Herbert out in Charger land, or if he was working with Hurts out in Philly. These are all different types of quarterbacks, right? We know Dak likes to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. We know Herbert's a big quarterback that can stay downfield, big arm, smart quarterback, and move if he needs to. And then you got Jalen Hurts, just a scrambling athlete quarterback that can throw and run. So he's basically worked with anybody. He can work with either Spencer, he can work with Tyler Shough. And this is the thing that leads us to Jake Haener. No disrespect to Jake Haener, but anytime that happens where you have that amount of inconsistency in terms of who the coordinator, you switching coordinators every year, man, that's going to be difficult for a guy like that to kind of keep up. And then the guys that you are getting are guys that's more athletic than he is, and would have different physical and athletic gifts that Jake simply doesn't have, right? So that kind of puts him behind. He don't have the big arm like Tyler or Spencer to throw the ball deep. He is a smart quarterback that has a degree of accuracy that he displayed in college. We haven't seen that consistently in the NFL. Perhaps year 3, you'll start seeing the game slow down for him and given an opportunity to see if he can lead an offense. Well, each year you fall further and further back because the next guy wants his guy in there. So, but for him to put Haener out there to see what he got is a fair move, because a lot of people do really still feel that that's the way. And he's just doing that just to see what the man got, to give him a fair evaluation to see where he is in year 3, because he is the most senior member of your team in terms of the quarterback, right? Got 3 years. All right. And if Tyler Shough, rookie quarterback Tyler Shough, saw the fewest attempts on that day, ending with 4 only 4 attempts. Shough finished 3 for 4, not bad. And his day cut short after a bad snap rolled on the ground before the play was called dead. Despite not seeing a ton of action, the second round pick would make the best throw of training camp, fitting the ball down a tight window to Juwan Johnson. Shough made the throw with great anticipation, and he put it right where Johnson could get it. And let me see if I can kind of show y'all this one right here. This is the one that they're talking about. The throw that he did. They were fair enough to kind of pin it here. So this is the throw right here. You can see right here, and he spotted him, and great throw. Put it right out front of him. And that's some of the best ones you can do right there. He's an anticipation throw. And that shows a lot because he dropped it right. Look at him. Only the wide receiver can get it. Look at that. Either he was going to catch it or it was going to be incomplete. And he dropped it right into his hands. And he was able to keep moving with the ball. So yeah, that was a perfect throw. Them anticipation throws, man, that's for a rookie. And listen, it ain't too much to talk for him to get a good read like that because he's made some mistakes. But that stuff that you've seen, some good ones that we had, one of the top ones do consistently, like the anticipation throws. And he did a phenomenal job of doing that. So, shout out to the young quarterbacks for kind of seeing the field a little bit different, right? Now, I wonder how that would look with pressure in your face. That's the next thing. That'll be the next thing your ass got to worry about is when you get pressure in the face, when you got to make that anticipation throw, right? But anyway, here's some more stuff to kind of talk about there. Good stuff by young guys. A second-year wide receiver, Mason Tipton, turned heads on Friday after a dominating performance, 5 catches during the 7-on-7s, including the deep ball from Spencer Rattler for the big gain for him. And this is right here where he was able to get his move right here, and he did a little pointing thing here. So let's see if I could tune that up for you. And there's Spencer, deep ball throw, and look at that. Mason, nice grab and point. First down, baby. Now see, Mason, this is the thing about Mason Tipton. He was doing this last year. Y'all remember in training camp, Mason Tipton was doing a hell of a job in training camp last year. It just did not carry over into the year. Remember, he had the catch that he just if he would have caught the ball, it was a touchdown. But he just dropped the ball, whether it's rookie jitters or whatever the case may be. We seen Mason Tipton do this. I'm not surprised by this. It's a nice play, but we know what Mason Tipton can do. We know the guy, where he come from, Yale? So he got it upstairs. So wide receiver, he come from Yale. He was productive there, right? We also do realize that he can catch the ball, he can route run, and he has a degree of speed. But putting it all together, like he was phenomenal in camp last year. Could he put it together and press on to make the team? Because like I said, if you look at the 3 guys behind, our top wide receivers, in terms of Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Brandon Cooks, who are the other guys? Who are going to be the next group of wide receivers? The in-case guys, like if something started happening to our other guys, who are the other guys who we can pivot to and say, okay, we good because we got these guys? Who are those guys? Who are the guys behind the aforementioned 3 guys I just talked about, Olave, Rashid, and Cooks? Can you name them? Who do you think? People told me, AQ, Bub Means, look out for Bub. Okay. Cedric Wilson Jr., they saying Cedric Wilson Jr. could have a resurgence because he played for Kellen Moore when he's with the Cowboys and he had some of his most productive years. Maybe the familiarity works. Also, they mentioned other people, Kevin Austin Jr., Donovan Peoples-Jones is my pick. Mason Tipton's in the mix. So there's an opportunity for guys because the Saints could have brung in, which I still think they should bring in another veteran wide receiver possession type, but they're sticking to see if anybody else has an opportunity to step up, step out, and make an impression to them. So they're giving these young guys a chance. If I had to select another guy behind the top 3, Donovan Peoples-Jones to me is an X factor because he's still much in his prime. He's in his prime. He's 7 years in the league, maybe 6, 7 years in the league, something like that. And then on top of that, he was a guy, he had 60 something catches in a year with the Browns. He got speed, he can catch, he can route run. So it's only a matter of time before we see if he can fit in what Kellen Moore got going on, right? We'll see. So anyway, then of course they cataloged the special teams battles that the Saints been dealing with here. Blake Grupe was called back up to kick on Friday, finishing the 4-5 day. He missed, could be blamed on heavy rainfall, but the circumstances were difficult with it being from the left hash mark, 49 yards out, despite the miss Grupe makes were still impressive, bringing his total through training camp 9 out of 10. Second year kicker Charlie Smith was brought in to challenge Group A, but struggled on Thursday's practice, going 2 for 5. Yes. So Blake Group A still very calm and cool in the kicking game. And then another part of the battle as we move forward with the special teams is who the hell is the returner going to be? That's another big one too. We got to keep an eye on the return game because that is very paramount for what the black and gold need to do, baby. So anyway, as we keep this thing going, let's kind of cover some more news, man. You know that we've been talking and covering this right here about the Noah Fant stuff. Of course, Noah Fant was listed with a visit on with the black and gold. We haven't heard much of it yet. We know that he did visit with the Bengals, I want to say, and walked out of the building, which is a good thing because anytime you got a wide receiver, tight end, like Noah Fant, 6'4", 6'5", 245, 250, something like that. This is a guy right here that could really help the black and gold, right? Do some stuff. And a little background on this one right here. We talked about this in the previous report. The Bengals hosted him, and they said the meeting was positive. He left. He's a 27-year-old former first-round pick by the Broncos back in 2019 out of the University of Iowa. We know that Iowa produces very good tight ends. There's some of the best tight ends in the NFL all come out of Iowa. Some of them come out of the University of Iowa. Y'all know the list. You can put it in the chat. Very good. Can Noah Fant be one of those guys? I mean, that's a tall order, but he's still a very solid tight end. Entering his fourth year, of a 4-year, 12.5 plus rookie contract that included a 7.1 plus signing bonus. He was traded to Seattle, acquired as a part of the Russell Wilson trade. And soon they picked up his 5th-year option for the 23rd season, which was worth about 6.8 plus, fully guaranteed. He was set to become unrestricted in 23, but re-signed on a 2-year contract in the March of 2024. Released by Seattle last week. In 2024, he played in 14 games for Seattle, caught 48 passes for 500 yards and a touchdown. And the Saints they got this guy in for a visit. Make all the sense in the world. The Noah Fant. To bring him in here. Big physical tight end. The guy averages for his career, he averages 11 yards per catch. Physical, if you watch footage on him, I think we put some footage on Noah Fant, perhaps. If you hadn't seen it. Guy could play. He can block, he can move, he can catch. Pretty good. But if you imagine pairing him with the likes of Juwan Johnson. Imagine pairing him with him. And Juwan Johnson was stoked about it. Juwan Johnson lobbies for the Saints to sign Noah Fant. He says, it'll get us going, man. I'd be extremely excited to have him here. So shout out to the Saints Wire Covenant. It's easy to see why the Saints want Noah Fant. He looked good in black and gold before having come out of the same Iowa to NFL factory that sent. Here it is. He got him right here. TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle, Sam Laporta into the pros. The former first-round pick visited the Saints on Friday after receiving or previously meeting with Cincinnati with no deal signed there. Count veteran starter Juwan Johnson among the number who would like to see Fant stick around. A tight end himself, Johnson sees Fant as a great fit in the offense rather than competition for his services. And Juwan Johnson, to be honest with you, has nothing to be concerned about. Juwan got his paper. 3-year deal, $30 million, roughly $10 million a year. He got his paper. He good, right? So Fant is a great fit in the offense rather than competition for his service. Kellen Moore has called a lot of passes to his tight ends in previous stops, and there's no reason to think the coach won't keep it going with the Saints. He most certainly will. He can add so much, Johnson told reporters on Friday's training camp. One, he can add a lot of explosiveness to the offense. I'd be extremely excited to have him here. I mean, you have guys like Ben Watson, Graham here before. You've had guys like that before that's really been explosive, and you can just think of the things that think things like that. I'm not going to go through the whole like Gronk and Hernandez thing, but that kind of potential is something that Louis like to have. Another stat surprisingly similar over the last 3 years. Fant has played in 48 games, catching 130 passes for 1,400 yards and scoring 5 touchdowns. In that same span, Johnson appeared in 46 games, 2 less, catching 129 catches for 1,424 yards and 14 touchdowns to go there. So Johnson has taken some heat from the family base for showing up in garbage time, for only showing up and not from. Hold on, let me say it again. Has taken some heat from the family base for not showing up, but only showing up in garbage time when trailing in the fourth quarter. He caught 29 catches for 307 and 4 touchdowns. Fant has caught 30 passes for 293 and scored 3 touchdowns. It's even, right? So there's more going on here than the raw numbers. Fant has been asked to do more with the ball in his hands. His average depth of target last 3 years is 6.2 yards. He paced 5.6 before the contact per catch, 5.2 yards gained after the catch, compared to Johnson, who is on average being targeted further downfield at 8.2, which led to more yards, right, before contact, which is almost 7 yards, but fewer yards gained after the catch. Johnson has broken more tackles than Fant, but he's also dropped more passes. More downfield opportunities has helped Johnson convert more first down, 75 than Fant, 65. To the point is that each player has plays for their offense, but they've going about it in different ways. So if you think about it, they definitely these guys would definitely complement each other, most certainly. And plus, if you look at the Saints depth chart, which at one time you thought of it like, man, the Saints tight end room is pretty loaded and littered with talent, but a lot of things have changed since we opened up the camp. I mean, originally the thought was Foster Moreau was going to be available for training camp. That was the original reports until when the presser, Mickey Loomis, said that both Taysom, we knew Taysom wasn't going to be ready right away. We knew he would be later on in the year, but Foster was more positive news, but that was not the case. Both of those guys on a physically unable to perform list, the puppy list, as I call it. And you had a retirement in Dallin Hawker, who was a free agent last year that a lot of people liked. He retired, really surprisingly. So that takes 3 people right on out of the tight end depth chart. So you behind Juwan Johnson, you got Jake Stahl, the tight end that they brung over from Philly, mostly a blocker, not much of a catcher. Matavo, the 7th-round draft pick from UCLA, who is a rookie. And then you got 3 other inexperienced tight ends, more like Jacobson and these other guys, Trayton Welch and this other fellow that, inexperienced tight end. So this make all the sense in the world to me. And plus the Saints still have a lot of money. So add Noah Fant with Juwan Johnson, man, that makes a lot of sense. That make a lot of sense, baby. That make a lot of sense, man. It really does. So hopefully they can get it done. We haven't heard anything on it yet. And usually that's a good sign. If he came here on Friday and you didn't hear him depart, because I'm pretty sure they would have told you that he departed without a contract. There's nothing on that. And usually when it goes like that, it's a positive. So the Saints have a need for him and they got the money and the spot. So let's make it work, baby. Let's make it pop. All right. So what y'all think about it, man? What y'all think of what we could do? Yeah. 504 Coast SQ. I could see Taysom retiring. Yeah. Taysom is getting up there in age, man. That was a gruesome injury last year too. And Taysom's really been getting beat up on the last several years, man. He's been taking a lot of punishment because of how the Saints been using Taysom Hill. They've been overused, especially last year. And I was like, they just overusing that idiot who he had, the offensive coordinator, just overused the guy. And the media people, we saying it, the media people said, don't you think you're overusing him? And, well, no, and the guy, he didn't have any imagination. You didn't know hey man, you could take Taysom Hill, put him over there and decoy him and get other guys opportunities. You know that, right? Now I'm just going to just tunnel vision, one track mind approach just to I'm too lazy to scheme up plays for these other guys, so I'm gonna just use Taysom until his wheels fall off. That's what the hell happened. So we got him out of here. Now we got some common sense, sensible stuff going on here where we can get these guys involved in the offense a lot better, man. Right. And also kind of talk about, man, the fact that the Saints did add Julian Blackmon. I don't know if you guys are aware of his contract, a 1-year deal at $5.5 million. They added Blackmon to the team because of the retirement of Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu retired. They brought in Blackmon on a 1-year deal at $5.5 million, 1-year prove-it deal there. And he made some, we've been seeing some stuff going on there with the safety room. Some of the young guys looking like they might get an opportunity of getting some plays there to step in and see what they can do. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to be interesting to see how the defense look. Two new safeties back there. 2 new safeties back there in that 34. Look, man, it's even though they switched from the 43 to the 34, it's like, man, damn. At least Tyrann Mathieu back there, you feel this type of, you had a little bit more. Okay, he back there, we'll be all right. But you got new guys back there now, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys, how they shake and move, man. Only time will tell, right, baby? Only time will tell. Anyway, we're going to bounce back to Tyrann. They got an interview he did with Kate. We're going to react to that live here in just a moment. Let me cover this, man, because this is something that I wanted to talk about the health and vitality of the Saints team going forward. This is a big one because this happened back in a while when they brought this guy in, Tom Rath. We've been often pushing, and this bowl's true because we talk about, I do the Pelican post game report with me and DC and Lex, and we always talk about 2 things. We talk about leadership and we talk about the injury staff, more so the injury staff than anything. Outside people that don't know anything about the team, that look at the stats and they just see whatever they see and don't do any thorough research, they will never know your team better than you. Because even though you respect other people's teams, you know your team, you know the personality of this type of stuff, you know all of this. So the reason I say that is because you always hear the Saints banged up, but they never put the other part to it. It's like other teams are suffering from injuries too. It's not just an isolated situation that only impacts the Saints. Even though the Saints get hurt and the Pelicans get hurt more than other teams, that's their fault. What do you mean, Q, by that? The injury monster just don't like their asses more so than they like anybody else? The injuries hit everywhere. But there's a preparation. It's a way you can deal with the injuries. You can't prevent them all or stop them, but you can reduce them with preparation and people that know what they're doing. There's levels to it in the sports medicine field, just like there are levels to every damn thing in life. There's love. They got shitty doctors. They got great doctors. They got shitty cops. They got great cops. They got people. You see what I'm saying? There's levels to everything in life. Everything in life, regardless of where it is, it's always going to be some that are better than others because of the preparation, because they studied more. All this kind of stuff plays into it. It's just a degree of how it works in life. It's just what it is. I say that about the Saints and the Pelicans medical staff, because if you want to reduce the injuries where your best players are on the field, and they're there, if you got your best players on the field more than likely you're going to experience more success because these people are talented. They're hard to stop. They're nightmares. These are excellent players. But you short yourself if you do this other stuff when you don't bring in people that know what they're doing. Now, perhaps the people we had was good enough for a 6 or 5 or all this type 5 or 6 wins or this type of stuff for football and all the bullshit that we see with the Pelicans. But in the end, if you want to do something about injuries, you got to hire the correct people that know how to stop it. Is this guy one of these guys? Because this is who Kellen Moore brought with him. Kellen Moore is smarter than a lot of people giving him credit for. He knows he had an opportunity to study and look at the New Orleans Saints team and understand that injuries have been punching the Saints and the Pelicans in the face for years. So much so that all the Saints do is blame injuries for why they keep effing failing every year. to the point where I am totally disgusted. I know you are disgusted about it. And they sit up here and pretend like their hands are shackled, like they can't do nothing about it. We just at risk to it. We can't prevent it. We can't do nothing about it. Hey, man, we just going to just cross our fingers and just hope that just with good old fashioned luck that is going to stop it. And then that's not how it works. You could prevent this stuff. You could severely reduce this stuff with the right technology and the doctors. That's how other teams are doing it in the NFL and every damn where else. They spend the money to stop it or severely reduce it. That's facts. Is this man one of them? Tom Rath was tasked with peak performance and minimizing injuries for the New Orleans Saints. Rath twice has been named the strength coach of the year. Can this man help us keep these players on the field? Right? Now, we talk about a lot of people all the damn time about this guy, and that's proper. But one of the most important people to this season's success is this man right here. This is the guy. Because if he is who they say he is and he's that good, you're going to get ready for some success, fam. Get ready. So let's just hit this article right here. This is straight off the NewOrleansSaints.com site. Ted Rath, New Orleans' new director of sports performance, who occupies a vital role in the effort to help conditioning Saints players well enough to play at peak level while also minimizing injury. The second part of this is crucial. During the last week's 5-12 campaign, center Eric McCoy missed 10 games. Quarterback Derek Carr missed 7 games. Receiver Rashid Shaheed missed 11 games. Chris Olave missed 9 games. Running back Alvin Kamara missed 3. Kendre Miller missed 11. Right guard Cesar Ruiz missed 4 games. Were just some of the players on offense who missed time due to injuries. Now, Rath's background suggests he can help. He has spent 15 years in strength and conditioning experience, and last was with the Eagles from 2020 to 2023. Philly reached the Super Bowl in 2022. And Rath was named Strength Coach of the Year by PF Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association, the second time he won the award. His connection to Kellen Moore dates back to Detroit, when Rath was the Lions' assistant strength and conditioning coach from 09 to 15, and Moore was the Lions' quarterbacks coach 2012 to 2014. He spoke recently with John DeSacia, shout out to JD, and this is some of the interview that he said. So do we call you Whisperer Savant? I don't know that I've been called any of those. He says, what is your base and how do you start with these guys in the offseason? What are you looking to accomplish? Rath says step 1, because this is the cool thing. I've had Kellen as a player, so he understands from a fundamental standpoint just how I operate consistently. And I understand how he operates, a thing that I've always found in my career. As a kind of a transition through bigger roles, I found sports medicine has been this huge influx for 10 years, 15 years ago, all these things. I think sometimes you can get paralyzed by some of the numbers, just analytics and some of the other things that are coming in and out, flooding the world of sports and football specifically. It's still football. So at the grand root of things, we still have to establish a strong mentality and physically tough football team. So we have to build a culture in order to do that. This is a strength and conditioning coach talking like this. When Kellen and I started talking about this, that was the first thing. It was, how do we elicit a culture and how do we build that? Well, we build it by connecting. We build it by competing. We have to be together. We have to form a team. A team is the culture. That's the living and breathing diagram and the diaphragm of what we have that has been driven by the culture of the team. And that's eventually how we're going to build a tough football team that can win games. And then, of course, he goes into it. And this is the second one, just the second question. I ain't going to, bore y'all with the rest of it. But he asks him, what are some of the things you're looking for in terms of the goals for conditioning for this team? Rath says, number 1, we have to be ready to play football. This is a football sport. It's not like we're a weightlifting team. It's not like we're training for something else. We're training to get them at full speed to really not just go through a four-quarter game, but if we get into an overtime situation, we have to be ready to continue to peak week after week after week for 18 weeks, plus the playoffs and the postseason. So for us, it's established in a baseline. You have to be physically strong enough to overcome your opponent. But when you have to, he says, but when you have to have what's called repeat spurt ability, we have to have the ability to line up, rest for 30 and 40 seconds, get to the next play call, then boom, line up, go again at an even higher level. So for us, that's preparing the tissue so that we're not breaking down. We're not pulling muscles. There's no soft tissue injuries, things like that. So we have to build the tissue so it's durable, but we have to train the metabolic system. So if it go out and play 4 quarters of football at a very high level. The man know what he's talking about, bro. Did you catch that? And the reason I'm saying is because we've seen the Saints players suffer from this all the time. This man been working with the Eagles. You've seen this demonstrated in the recent Eagle team. Outperforming the other teams, taking it through the wire, get into the Super Bowl. And let's not kid ourselves. We know that to make it through a grueling NFL season, it takes more. It takes something else. It takes extra training. It takes a mentality, which this man talked about in the first paragraph. Then he broke it down and talked about, we're not training you for weightlifting. We training you for football. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I just found that so very good, because the question I've been posing about the Saints is, what are you going to do about the injuries when they step up? And that some of this other stuff that we've been dealing with is as a result of the training staff. These players are not prepared properly. That's why we seeing all of this stuff happen. And Kellen Moore seen it and brung this damn man from Philly down here with him to help him build up the Saints. And the man, first conversation he talking about is building up the mentality. Before you even get to the body in terms of the muscles and all this kind of stuff, he talking about building them up here first, because he understands from a metaphysical standpoint that you don't do the body before you get the mind right. And that you deal with the mentality and the mind, that the mind is first and all else follows. Mind over matter. He understands that. So when I read that, I was like, man, let me share this with the fam. Let me share this with the fam. So that the people that had the AQ, I'm concerned about the injury situation, what they're going to do. I had to show Raph and hear his words and give it to y'all and say, this is what we needed to hear. This is what it takes. When you got to have, if you want to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to have a Super Bowl trainer, because the Super Bowl trainer knows how to tune the mind in the body of the people before the coach even get his hands on them. Did you get that, baby? So I found this very inspirational. So I hope that you guys get that, and get that in spirit. And with that, I was like, man, listen here. I think we all right. We're going to be all right. Because that impressed me, because I already know Kellen was smart. But when I seen, I was like, man, look at this guy here. Look at this guy. He knows what's going on. He did his research well. So can we see, like what we seen with McCoy and all these other guys, we've been seeing for the last 4 years with these miscellaneous injuries and all this, and me saying all this stuff about, man, this the training staff, this the health staff. Good to know, man. Kellen got something going here. You got to have a Super Bowl trainer if you want to have a Super Bowl team before the goddamn coach get his hands on them. Their body got to be ready for that trip, because it is physical as hell. We seen that. We seen Philly do it. This guy came from Philly. Let's give him an applause, man, because I think I'm happy about that shit. I'm happy about that. All right, bobbing with the Johnson said, Q, that was all. Oh, yes. Did it hit your head like it hit me, bro? Did it get y'all that? Because listen, fam, we've been knowing this for a long time, man. It's good to know these people are actually paying attention to what's going on and how we need to really get this team in the right direction, to be quite honest with you. All right, anyway, man, let's keep it moving, man. Let me get ready to put this on for y'all, man. This is Tyrann Mathieu, his interview that he did with Kate Adams. He did a really solid interview, man, with her, and he talked basically about his retirement and stuff like that. And a few people popped on. I might not play the entire thing, but it's good to, see. You can see happy. 12 years in the NFL, he called it quits, and kind of surprised us on it, man. But hey, man, dude did it, man. Listen, and also listen, the history of Tyrann Mathieu, man, from New Orleans when he got, from LSU. There was, he at the start of his career, there was stuff going on. A lot of people thought, he had these off-field troubles that it would interrupt his career, but he got that shit under control and had a 12-year career with a Super Bowl ring. Is he a safety? Is Tyrann Mathieu, in your estimation, a Hall of Famer? I say yes, he is. Now, the second question would be, to me, I guess I should have did a poll question, is Tyrann Mathieu the best safety the Saints ever had? Would you say he the best? I wouldn't put him as the best. I would say probably the best safety we ever had. I don't know. I would have to say Malcolm Jenkins, perhaps. I know there's Gene Atkins and Sammy Knight. I love those guys, but Malcolm Jenkins was a son of a gun. Malcolm Jenkins was a beast. Is it Malcolm? What y'all think? I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Where's Tyrann Mathieu in your high order in terms of best safeties the Saints ever had? Y'all put it in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Here's Tyrann Mathieu. Let's hear a little bit from him.
No, that's crazy, right?
How does it feel?
I mean, to be honest, it hasn't really hit me yet. I'll probably say the only thing that's kind of stuck out really the last couple of days was Patrick Peterson called me the other day. And, me and him just kind of reflect on our careers and our lives and, the type of goals and commitments we made, way back when we was at LSU, right? And to kind of see both of us, retire in the same offseason, but to just have like those lives that kind of just ran parallel, for like the last 12 years. And, obviously he's been like a big inspiration to me. Probably one of the biggest, in my NFL career. And, so he's a big reason why, I lasted, as long as I did.
I would say in your Hall of Fame speech, Patrick Peterson, among outside of the relationship you two have, like him being the punt returner in Arizona. I mean, you did it in college. Him doing it instead of you probably honestly added some longevity to your career, no?
Yeah. Man, I'll probably say so.
Who else has called you? I like that you're singling out Patrick Peterson, but I can't imagine your phone isn't blowing up.
Yeah. I mean,
first of all, Patrick Peterson, man, was an absolute beast at LSU. He was very solid in the pros. Pat Peterson was awesome. He was awesome, man. Special player. But some of the family members just stop at a lot. We asked the question, who do y'all think? KT said, I think he's a Hall of Fame, but he's not first back. I can agree with that, KT. I'll give you that, bro. Slim says Darren Sharper, despite the outside stuff. Oh, yeah, right. KB says it's Sharp. What's up, KB? T-Will, what's up, my brother, says Sharp. Okay, brother Richard says Sharper had a hell of a 09 for sure. I'm talking about all time, fam. And Sharper was only here for 2 years. Wasn't it 2 years? Wasn't it a 2 year? Because it was a Super Bowl. He was hell on wheels that 1 year. But wasn't Sharp here for like 2 years? The second year wasn't all that, but if my memory serves, Piston Honda said it's number 4. That's Sharp. All right. OG says Sharper, Jenkins, and Tyrann. Okay, thank you, OG. Phillips says it was Sharper. All right. He was hell on wheels that year. I don't know, fam. KT said Hunter Badger wasn't here long enough. Well, I mean, Sharper wasn't here. How long was Sharper here for? Tyrann had more interceptions 2013 than anyone first ballot, in my opinion. I don't know. KT says He says he's in my conversation, but I'm making arguments for Atkins, Jenkins, and Sammy Knight. See, that's the ones I put in there. I talked about Gene Atkins. I talked about Sammy Knight. Where's Brett Maxey in there? Brett Maxey. But Malcolm Jenkins, man, that's what I'm saying. When we get that, we got to do a show on that, fam. Like some of these guys, like if you look at some of the best safeties the Saints ever had, my goodness. I would have to. I like Gene Atkins, but I think Malcolm Jenkins is up there. I would have to. I gotta go. I gotta go with Malcolm. Malcolm Jenkins, because Malcolm Jenkins was good. He got interceptions. He was very smart back. The matter of fact, the Saint, even Sean Payton said that. Remember that when the Saints were supposed to pay Jenkins that year, and he went to Philly and helped them win a championship. Y'all remember that? And he went up there and was Mr. Every damn thing with Philly back then, that defense for Philly. And Sean Payton said he regretted letting them leave because I think that year he let Jenkins go so he could sign. Was it who was it? Was it Jarius Byrd? I don't remember, fam. Was it Browner? I don't remember who it was, man, but it was a guy that wasn't hitting on shit. But I remember Sean Payton said he made a mistake by letting him go. They should have signed him back. But yeah, Tim says Tommy Myers going way back, man. Yeah. All right. Brian says we didn't win a Super Bowl till we had number 42. But is he the greatest of all time is what I'm asking, Brian. What do you think? The greatest Saints safety ever, even though Sharper was here for 2 years. Is he the best safety we ever had? Is that what it was? That what you giving it on? Willie says Malcolm Jenkins started out as a cornerback, but switched to safety. I know Willie, but I'm saying, is he still considered? I still consider him. He had more impact to the Saints in the safety room than in my opinion than the cornerback room, because he was hell on wheels back at it. He was a decent cornerback too. He was a very good cornerback, but he was just a really good player, man. Mr. Don says Sammy Knight. Brian says Dave Waymer. Okay. See, then the argument rages on. Now he was okay at cornerback, KT. He wasn't that bad. Yeah. Brett, honorable mention Brett Maxey. I know that was the Dome Patrol safeties. Brett Maxey and Gene Atkins. We forget about them like we forget about the 3 down linemen up front. When you have Frank Warren and Jumpy Gathers and guys like that. We forget Jim Wilkes. We forget about them, but we know the Dome Patrol. We know the full linebackers. But the safeties back there was Brett Maxey and Gene Atkins. Yeah, we already know that. Marshawn Lattimore is the best Saints cornerback ever. Already covered that on the previous stream, bro. That's hands down. Ain't no arguments about that. Best cornerback ever is Marshawn Lattimore. Best. And the greatest thing, he was New Orleans raised in terms of getting him into that Pro Bowl setting so he can be an awesome player. Early on, he could have been a lot better too because he dealt with concentration issues. Like he would just go to sleep against mediocre cornerbacks, and it wasn't until Aaron Glenn came here that he changed all of that, got him to see the game differently. But anyway, let's get back to this. We'll
I've heard from everyone. Obviously, former teammates from college, and NFL. And I'll probably say another one that stuck out to me, Kate, was Bruce Arians. He called me yesterday, and man, just to hear his voice, and obviously, he was such a big inspiration. And really, I'll probably say was that father figure, that uncle figure, that I needed kind of coming into the league when I was 20 years old, and everything that I had kind of going through a couple years before that at LSU. Man, he made football exciting. He made me want to be a part of that team, and and that was a good team, a good locker room that I had joined. So I know I talk about Patrick a lot, rightfully so, and even Bruce Arians, but those guys like Larry Fitzgerald, coaches like Nick Rapone, Kevin Ross, like I think all those guys kind of they took it personal. When I got drafted there, and I think all of those guys kind of had an equally shared responsibility, kind of helping Tyrann like just be who they know I could be. And yeah, that was like that whole group was just a big blessing to me to really start my career.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I know, Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles as well. They were huge for you early.
Yeah,
mentors.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Todd Bowles pretty happy that you're out of his division and out of the league, though, huh?
He probably is. He probably is, no doubt about it.
I know you're smiling. I like that you're being reflective. It's very cool to hear you just go to the beginning right away. You're just like right there. When I got there, I was actually even thinking this morning, we don't have to talk about the Hall of Fame, which you are a lock, so it's not even a discussion. But I'm like, who's going to knock on his door? Like they're doing that. It's kind of new, this tradition of like, who comes in? It's got to be Larry or Patrick, right? Like who would you guess right now, even though I know it's far away?
I mean, I'd probably say, one of those two guys, Larry or Pat. I played with like so many great players, though. We just talking about Arizona, but I went to Houston and played with J.J. Watt, right? Like, and DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously going to KC and playing with Mahomes, and me and Coach Spags, who's probably like the greatest defensive coordinator of my lifetime for sure. I mean, I think OVC, Coach Barrett. So it's like, I don't know who. I hope one of them knock on my door, though. You know what I mean? But,
it'll happen.
Hopefully.
This is not an easy decision. I like that it hasn't hit you yet. I like that we're laughing. It took you right up until camp to make it official, at least to the public. When did you decide to retire, and why now?
Well, I think, to be honest, Kate, I think that's been a conversation I've kind of had, really going into the last couple seasons. And I think the older I got, the more challenging and harder it became to like leave my kids, like at first it was all cool, right? Like I get the weekend off, you know what I mean? But then it's like once you get like a certain age, or I guess I should say, once you kind of, begin to experience like different parts of life, I think priorities shift, right? Like I think the things that meant the most to me when I was 22, they don't really mean the most to me at 33, and so, I think my kids play a big part in that, and it's funny because, I think the only one that's kind of upset with me right now is my daughter. She's like 5, right? But, and then my two sons, who's 12 and 11, I think they've like been able to experience this thing, right? And I remember one of them kind of telling me like, Dad, I think you need a break, man. Like you've been doing that a long time, So, I mean, to have the support of your kid as well,
Why is your daughter mad at you?
That means the most. Well, I think game days for her is like a holiday. She gets to dress up and be my biggest cheerleader. So she enjoys those type of environments.
I have to ask you, just because everyone wants you to coach. Like I put on my Twitter, what should we ask Tyrann? And let's start here. What is it like to have all of the college football teams, LSU, of course, in the front, and all of the NFL team fans wanting you, fighting over you to come coach for them? But it doesn't sort of sound like, given your reasoning, prioritizing wanting to spend time with family, like coaching not in the future. What are we thinking?
Well, I think, for sure, I won't be coaching this fall. That's for sure. But who knows what the future holds? I think, anybody that's kind of known me and, really been around me, I think they know how much I love football. And I'm pretty sure me retiring is probably was shocking and surprising to some people, because they know how much I love the game and, how much, I've given to the game. So, I'm really, honestly, man, I'm looking forward to like the next great challenge. I feel like when I came into the league, obviously it was a great challenge for me because of, where I come from and all those things. And, I was really proud of the way I handled myself, the last 12, 13 years. And, I've accomplished some of the greatest goals, ever, really. And, I'm excited to see like me do that in my next like endeavor. And I don't know if it's going to be TV. I don't know if it's going to be coaching. I don't know, but I know like me being away from football, I don't think like that's a thing, So it's like, even though I retired, it's like, I think my heart is still like, with the game, and especially the players.
So your love for the game has not gone away. It's not like you're done. You'll either be coaching or I love the TV thing. I treat like your emotional intelligence, all of it, like your football IQ is just amazing. Like all the quotes I was looking back through the years at things you said and like taking on, even like, I know we were talking about the Saints here, like Derek Carr, like the way that you see plays before they're made. It's amazing. So so we're clear. We're not ruling out coaching. We're not ruling out TV, but on the retired football player scale, I don't believe in players retiring. I think y'all are all liars because too many people retire and then come back. So on a scale of like, bingo golf with Patrick Peterson and shuffleboard, retired, not working out anymore, 2, staying in shape and taking a call from Spags in January. On the other side, how retired are you?
I'm retired. I'm retired. So, and obviously, I had that conversation, with somebody close to me, right? And it's like, I don't think they really believe me, right? Because, a couple of days ago, we were just talking about, how MJ kind of took a couple of years off and, Dion did it. And so, I think that's always like, a possibility. I don't want to ever kind of rule,
It's a little
anything out.
different for
But
football players, though.
I think as of right now, what my spirit is, mentally where I'm at. Yeah, I think I'm for sure. I'm retired.
You're retired right now. So let's relive some special moments. And you have that
Okay.
Saints helmet in back of you. And it's
Mhm.
just incredible. I was thinking about it. And, your first career NFL interception, which was your third ever game, by the way. It was back in New Orleans for the first time. You pick off Drew Brees. As we're seeing here, what do you remember?
I remember that.
Man, I just remember, going back home and, obviously the excitement of it and, all my family there, all my friends there. And, I'm playing in front of, like my people, right? Even though like I'm on a visiting team. I just remember, that whole day, man, like it was so hard to stop the Saints. I think they scored like 40 on us that day. It was like so hard to stop them. And, I think as a young player, man, like you just want to make a play. You just want to do anything to kind of give your team a spark or anything. And so, yeah, man, like I thought that intercept would like give us a spark, for me to kind of come back in and invade, the hometown team. But Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, they was just a little too much for us that day.
I mean, but it's a nice storybook ending, like your first and your last interception, both in the Superdome.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like a
That
movie.
is
I was hoping it might not be the end. I don't know if the door's open. I don't know if I quite believe you. But how much does it mean to you? And
He
Chiefs
retired.
fans saying, "No, sign a 1-year deal, a 1-day deal. Like we want you to retire here." Why so important for you to retire as a Saint? What went into that? And how special is your relationship with that fan base?
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans, man, has been, really everything for me. I think the city, the people within the city, and even beyond that, really, entire Louisiana, they've just been so supportive. They've been so supportive and, really so encouraging. And I think ultimately, as a youngster, man, like you just want to make your people proud. And, I was so proud to kind of represent New Orleans, everywhere I went. And it was just so, it was just fortunate. I was fortunate enough, to say, when I had the opportunity to come back home, I think that was just a perfect, scenario for me. I had, really achieved everything, possible, to achieve as a defensive player, the last couple of years. And, to have the opportunity to come home and, and really just be present with my foundation and, ultimately, man, just giving these kids some inspiration and some hope. I hope I was able to, provide that for them. These last couple of years, I've been able to be home.
I think it's important you say that everybody from like the Justin Reeds is how you're talked about by players, even like with that Chiefs team. I would say if I'm talking about you and your legacy, changing the game at the position you played, like just changing the league and how in everybody, all the Minkas, all the, you're the model for scouts and stuff going forward. We can get into that, but it's also sort of helping build this dynasty, this lasting effect that you had on the Chiefs team, winning the ring, and then what you left by showing up early. Like I hear all these little tidbits, through the just being around the NFL. What would you like your legacy to be? Like, where do you, what is the most important thing that when people think Tyrann Mathieu NFL that you want them to think of first?
Well, honestly, Kate, I hope that they speak about, my authenticity, how genuine I was, how passionate I was, not just about the game, but about my teammates and coaches as well. I can't think of a bad time, and, I've been able to really be coached by some of the best coaches, the NFL has ever seen, between Coach Reed and BA and, like Spags and even Romeo Crennel in Houston, right? Like in Bill O'Brien, like all these guys are great coaches. And I think all of them, I think they all kind of left something with me. Right. And I think all of them too, they know how much how much of a student of the game I was. And so I think that's why all those guys are probably going to be fighting over me in the next couple of months, trying to figure out who's going to hire me. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to that negotiating process.
Yeah, the bidding war is on for your services, and it's so funny you're speaking so highly about them. And I'm like, yeah, fast forward in 2 years when he's kicking your ass as the coach of one of these teams somewhere. You were such a fun player to watch because it was always just a game, like a play is going to get made, something's going to happen, and you did it over and over again. 36 interceptions. Congratulations on that. 36 interceptions leads the entire league over those 12 years, and you're in the league. Nobody had more. You picked off so many fun quarterbacks. Breeze, Brady twice, Lamar a few times, Romo, Russ, newly retired Rivers. Tell me now, since you're done, who was the most satisfying?
The most satisfying? Oh man. I'd probably say, obviously it's always kind of between, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. I think, obviously, Brady, like that, like those are important. Like he don't throw a lot of interceptions. I think for me to be able to, play against him as many times as I have, and be able to come away with a couple turnovers. Like I think that's like every defensive player's dream. And I think with the Drew Brees interception is, man, like I'm kind of picking off like my city's like savior. And so that felt great. That felt good. Drew Brees is another one who don't throw a lot of interceptions, right? So yeah, definitely, man. Just I feel fortunate to be able to have been on the field with those guys, knowing how great they are, and knowing like I had a chance like to get those guys. You know what I mean? So
yes.
I think that's a good feeling. Yeah.
And hear that, internet?
What is that? I'm gonna have to look that up, fam. 36 interceptions, according to K, the most during that time frame. Where is that on the list? Where is that on the active interception list? Because that says a lot. I mean, I'm going to have to look that up while that's going on. What's up, Dr. Gray? Shout out to you, brother. All right. Yeah. What's up, Jerry Covington? Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up, man, to see where that ranks in terms of, he had. I caught that.
He ain't lying.
You had to throw DA in there. DA is the fun coach. Yeah. Yeah, well, he was saying, he had to throw Dennis Allen in there. He's the fun coach, Oh, my goodness. Anyway.
Did you hear him saying the ultimate respect for Tom Brady? You guys clearly are great. You're going to have the gold jackets here going forward. If we talk about Patrick Mahomes a little bit, obviously, and by the way, if you go and play back in January, then like maybe you can pick off Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't know that he's off your list. I think you have a couple more I was seeing that I was like, maybe he'll come back for this. But when it comes to Patrick, I got to sit down with him the Chiefs really. I sat down with him a couple of weeks ago and I said, how are you looking at this year? Like what's going on up here? You know what it's like to lose a Super Bowl twice, unfortunately. And then what that next year is like. Is it a revenge tour? Is it a whatever? And he's like, I'm just so sick of hearing everybody talk. I'm sick of it. He wants to just go play. Can you, I know as a fan on my couch at 1 p.m. what it looks like if it's a revenge tour, it's Patrick, whatever. They won 15 games last year. What goes on in that locker room? Knowing him off of a Super Bowl loss. Like what does this year look like in that locker room as they're on this tour? Oh,
man. I mean, if I can, really, if I could kind of put a finger on it, man, like it's intense. I think it's, this seriousness, right? And I think like, coaches and players alike, I think they have to be able to tap into that mindset in the spring, throughout training camp. You can't like save that type of stuff for, middle of the season or, when the season starts. So I think it's all about mentality. It's all about attitude. And, if I know those guys, like I think I know, they haven't slept. They haven't had a good night of sleep since they lost that game. So I think Patrick is extremely motivated. I think, Kelsey's motivated. And then obviously, Coach Reed and Coach Spags, like I know those guys. Like they probably haven't left the building, since they lost that game. You know what I mean? So I can see those guys starting fast and we're definitely playing with an edge to really begin and kind of take them throughout the season.
Coach Mathieu with Spags would be pretty nice. Maybe eventually. You say you're not coaching this fall. I don't know how much I believe that. I would never ask you this as a player. So now I can ask you now, last one, and maybe this is like your media, we're dipping in here. I feel like it's okay to ask you, is Patrick the greatest quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Is he the greatest quarterback like of all time?
Up to you. You can hedge it how you want.
I mean, well, I would say he's a great quarterback. I say like greatest of all time. I think that's still like reserved for Brady. And I think with Brady, like that's just longevity. That's respect. That's just playing against this guy, on the biggest stages. Like he was one of the most competitive, accurate, like he just had like a single mindset to win by any means necessary. And like he was always a challenge to go up against. I think being the greatest of all time is like, I don't think it's like a 8, 9, 10-year thing. I think if Pat like is able to get to like year 15, year 16, I think at that point maybe he'll be the greatest of all time. But I think Brady and just everything he accomplished and just the touchdowns and the win percentages, right? Like the Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I think you still have to respect that. But I think Patrick is like definitely like a close second. Like he's closing in.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. He's on his way. Who doesn't like talking about quarterbacks? We're going to take a break. And I do want to say before we bring on our guest to give you all the love here who used to play with, congratulations on retirement. Take a break, take a beat. I hope you're feeling all the love from every team, college through NFL, and really just like the lasting impact you had on changing the game. Everything you've done in your community, the Tyrann Mathieu Foundation, has been legendary. So we cannot wait to see what's next. But you know who doesn't like, you're welcome. Do you know who doesn't like talking about quarterbacks or hearing anything good? This guy, Dwight Freeney, Hall of Famer, joining the show. You must hate this.
What's up?
What's up, my guy? How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm good. Congratulations, yo.
Thank you,
Listen,
man. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, what a career! What a career!
Appreciate it, brother.
I remember when you was a young pup in AZ.
I know, right? I know.
Now we're
Dog.
talking about
2015.
retirement.
Yeah,
I'm trying to tell you, 2015, my first year, my last year at Arizona was his rookie season.
Yeah.
And
Wait, what do you
he was
remember
a
about
baller
it?
then. He was a baller. He had that mentality. I knew he was going to play for a long time, because he didn't seem like a rookie. He didn't have that mentality of a rookie. He had a mentality like, I've been here for a while. I'm going to stay here for a while.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
No, I appreciate that, man. Obviously, like me and Kay was talking about it earlier, man. And I think one of the best things that probably could have ever happened to me was going to Arizona, right, and being in the locker room with guys like you, Calais Campbell, obviously Larry and Pat, but just to kind of have that Darnell Dockett's of the world, the Carlos Dansby's, the Shough Johnsons and Gerard Powers, I think that group of veterans that I had, man, like y'all was like the best representation for me because what y'all did on the football field is what y'all did off the football field, and it was a blessing, man, because none of you guys ever kind of leaned me in the wrong direction, right? And I took pride in that. I took pride in being a professional, right? Like, and I think guys like you, man, y'all had a big part in helping me, just understand that professional side of it. Like this is a job. This is our business, So I'm always reflective of that, man. But I'm mostly grateful because I know a lot of guys get led the wrong way, and I was just happy that the guys that was around me, they did it the right way, and I could look back and be proud of that,
Oh, that was our job, man.
Yeah, shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, man, for 12 years, dude. I mean, the brother, man, jeez, 36 interceptions, man. I was looking up the list while they were talking, bro, and my goodness, 36 interceptions. Wow. Is it enough to get him in there? I say he's a Hall of Famer. I agree, KT. I don't see him as a first ballot, but 36 interceptions, man. I think the top career interception leader as a defensive back, right? You got Paul Krause. That dude had 81 of them. The ones that we recognize, like Rod Woodson, y'all remember him from the Steelers. Rod Woodson had 71. Night Train Lane as a cornerback had 68. Charles Woodson had 65. Ed Reed had 64. Darian Sharp had 63 interceptions. A lot of that was with the Vikings, although he did have some good years. I think the 2 years he played with the Saints, he did really well. The second year, not so much. That first year, it was just ridiculous. He had 63 off that. Dick LeBeau, y'all remember him, the former head coach, he had 62. Mel Blount had 57. Eugene Robinson had 57. This is just some of the names, man, with all these interceptions. Aeneas Williams is from down here. He had 55 as a cornerback. Eric Allen had 54. Willie Brown had 54. Darrell Green had 54. Ty Law had 53. Some of these guys are cornerbacks. But, man, listen, some of these safeties, if we talking safeties, like Sharp and Woodson and them guys way up there. But 36 is very respectable. Deron Cherry, the safety, remember him from the Chiefs, he had 50 interceptions. So, I mean, he played safety. So it was quite a few people, man, just looking at the list of players, and he had 36. Like, I agree. I see him as a Hall of Famer, maybe not a first ballot guy, but Tyrann Mathieu, man, he was awesome, man, in what he did. All right. Yeah, State of the Palace. What's up, DJ? Says the top 6. Yeah, he definitely a Hall of Famer. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no discussing that. All right. Kenny Vaccaro. What are we talking about here, man? What's going on, DJ? Kenny Vaccaro. Oh, y'all must have had a conversation about the most disappointing Saints safeties, I guess Vinny Vaccaro would fall on that list. He would be on that list. He wouldn't be the top, but he would be somewhere at the bottom of that list. Anyway, fam, listen, man, y'all got any questions? Throw them in the chat. But yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, man, and the Saints, man, what we got going on this year with the black and gold. All I could tell you, fam, is that I think this year, like we talked about the health staff and a lot of stuff that was going on with the team. All I could tell y'all, man, is that I think that we're going to be headed to something really good this year. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. They're not looking at the Saints. The Saints are going to be considered an underdog. I'm feeling really good about the Noah Fant visit. We haven't heard anything, and that usually equals out to be something positive. So hopefully we can get that knocked out. When Tyrann Mathieu retired, they picked up Julian Blackmon, and Julian Blackmon could play, and there is some side, some little knockoff about his game that he's been dealing with injuries and stuff like that. But Julian Blackmon could play. Now, whether or not, we'll see what's going on here. Really, he was banged up in 21 when he played only 6 games, but the guy gets interceptions. I gotta tell you that he gets picks. He does do that. So how he will fit, man, and Staley, I think Staley gonna get them guys playing in that 34 defense. We got to get after guys on the front and create that pressure. But anyway, man, listen. I just think it's going to be something different, man, for the black and gold for us to do, man, to be quite honest with you. As I open up the depth chart here so the family members can see the Saints unofficial depth chart of talent on the team. Now, there's still some question marks. We're still very early on to figure out who's going to be what in terms of the backup wide receiver position. We've seen some good plays from Mason Tipton, not so much from Donovan Peoples-Jones as of yet. Still a lot of camp left. But means Kevin Austin Jr., Cedric Wilson, and others have to step up in that next layer just for depth. As long as if one of our top guys get hurt, somebody got to step up, step out, and step in. The tight end situation we talked about is definitely in need of a really good tight end that can complement Juwan Johnson. And man, listen, if they can get Noah Fant, that will be big to help out, especially when you got an inexperienced quarterback to have tight ends that can catch and block. That is cool. Offensive line, we're still looking at the backups. Dylan Runduntz and Penning going at it. How good is Wesley and Josh Ball? We'll see. Not much to talk about there. We did hear Easton Kilty get benched because of false start and stuff like that, but that's a part of the game. They're inexperienced offensive linemen, they got to learn. Defensively speaking, the Saints did add Jonathan Bullard to the team. That's what I was talking about, the Saints defense, just with whatever Staley wants, he gets for that defense, because that defense has to stop the run. They have to create pressure, and they have to get turnovers to help out that offense as much as they possibly can because of obvious, right? If our defense can get after you, knock you around, turn you over on the short field, that helps our offense out. We don't have to drive long fields. We can put pressure on them. And I think that's the ball control game, where we take possession of their playbook by limiting their playbook by running the football and stealing the clock. That expedites them in their play calling. They got to throw out plays and they got to get busy. That's a part of the Saints stratagem as well. And that's a part of the really important running attack the Saints have. Are these other guys outside of Alvin Kamara ready to step up, step in, and step out? That is being worked on right now. So a lot of positive stuff, man. Tyrann retires. Julian Blackmon's there. Jonas Sanker and Howden are the young safeties there. And the Saints still are working on improving that defense. So the defense, man, a lot of acquisitions to the defense. Devon Gacho's added there, Bullard, and all these other guys were brought in. Drafting. The Saints drafted all of those picks this year, all of their draft picks this year. They drafted them and have placed them onto the team. All of those guys. We talking about the Matavos. We talking about the Fadil Diggs and the Jonas Sankers and the Quincy Rileys and the Stutzmans and the Devin Neals, all of these guys. The Saints have found a position for them, and there's going to be improvement all the way around. And plus, like I talked about with you guys, the addition of this guy, and we broke it down about Tom Rath. If you didn't get an opportunity to hear me talk about this was also a very huge, because I wanted to share this information, but this has been out here. But I wanted to kind of break this information down and share with the family members, because we know watching the Saints, a lot of the times over the last several years, the Saints have set up there and blamed injuries for why they wasn't winning or getting to the playoffs. That was the main thing. They put Cam Jordan on this whole freaking offseason thing, going on these NFL shows and blaming the injury monster for everything that was going on the team. He didn't talk about how shitty Dennis Allen was, or how he didn't have any ability, how he had no accountability. Guys was false starting and he didn't take them out of there. None of that. It's all on the injury, man. Get the hell out of here with that, man. People not buying that, especially when you keep saying it year after year, it loses its impact. Trust me, it does. Because your basketball counterpart, that's all they know the last 5+ years is to blame the injury, man. We sick of that. Damn. We don't want to hear it no more. God damn it, get better medical people. And this is what this guy is. So congratulations to doing that. Kellen Moore did his, what can I tell you? The man did his research. Because you take over as a head coach. And you looking at the depth chart, you played this team in week 3 last year, and it came down to what did they barely won the game? Came down to a very close game. Hell, if McCoy would have not gotten hurt, the Saints would have beat Philadelphia in that game. So he was there then, and he looking at the depth chart saying, man, why this team only won 5 games last year? What the hell going on down there? Then you start looking at, wow, all these injuries. Why all these people injured? And then you know, because you've been a part of teams before, why players get injured. It's not no curse. And all these people talking about, the Saints is cursed, the Pelicans, all these people, that's bull crap, man. If you believe, now listen, there's a real reason for what's going on. That's because they're not looking in the right places. Teams don't just it's no curse on the Saints or the Pelicans. In terms of, there's a curse, man, there ain't no curse on these people. If there is anything as a curse, it's a curse of stupidity. If anything. Shit, if I got billions of dollars like Gail have, and I'm sitting up here looking at my team saying why they losing, and then the guy Mickey Loomis walks up there and saying, "Well, I don't get my injury. That's injuries. That's why we're losing. That's the players. They're hurt." And I'm like, "Well, what's wrong with the doctors? Why year after year we keep having these problems here with these? What's going on here? Shouldn't we get better doctors?" I'm saying, if you got somebody fixing on your house and you got and shit that they fix the next year or the next month is breaking down, is tearing up, you're gonna be looking at it like, man, why didn't I just pay somebody to fix this shit? Why is this messed up again? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Come on, y'all know how many times y'all took y'all car to somebody and they try, or your car, or you had a repair done that was subpar. It's levels to this shit, man. You got crappy contractors, you got really good ones, right? You got crappy doctors, you got really good ones. You got some in between, right? It's here, and here. And sometimes, wherever they rely. Come on now, y'all know. You got good wardens, you got bad wardens. We got a bad warden down here. Hey, listen, I would not laugh at this if it wasn't so pathetic. Y'all put one in the chat. Did y'all hear what the lady did down here that run the jail? They let somebody out of here, let somebody out of jail, and it was the wrong person. Put one in the chat.
That is completely psychotic.
Oh my God. Put one in the chat if y'all heard that. I mean, goddamn, we just had guys running out of there like it was a track meet not too long ago. One of the guys still missing. You can't make it up. And then on top of that, This lady had the nerve to say she running for the sheriff again. What? You doing what? She put her head. What? Oh my God. Yes. Y'all ain't hear that? They let the wrong man out and then they blamed it on the name being from saying that, well, it was a computer error because the names were similar. In the names, the only thing similar about the names is that they both started with the last names was similar. And the only thing similar about it was the fact that both names started with the letter B. What? What? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's going on up here, people? What's happening? I don't know what's going on nowadays, fam. I'm just going to leave it all to be. Thank you, KT. Thank you, man. He says, do you think we'll ever blackout game in the dome, black helmet, jerseys, and pants? That would be fire because we do have that fire Darth Vader black helmet. That's not a bad idea, KT. I would love to see that too, man. Like we got the gold off, they got the gold outfit they wear. They got the all white now. So the Saints got the white helmet. They can go all white, pants, look fire. They got the gold jersey with the gold helmet. You can do that. And then they got the Darth Vader outfit where you got the black helmet, black gold. Yeah, I would definitely love that, bro. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Absolutely love to see that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The Darth Vader outfit, boy. We hope Kellen Moore, you're listening. The Darth Vader Saint outfit, black helmet, pants, shirt, blackout, and put a black eye to any opponent, man. We'd be undefeated wearing that, man. The dome, scaring the hell out them people. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I can't make it up, man. I'll say, man, you got to be kidding about that, man. But no, I wasn't kidding. That lady got up there, man. I felt bad for her because she was her head down like that before she got to it. I was like, oh Lord, lady, please. Because that lady got the other lady kind of threw up under the bus kind of before she rolled it out. She wanted to let them know, hey man, I ain't got nothing to do with this shit. This her. Go talk to her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, boy, I tell you, man. I don't know how this go. Then they said he was a fugitive. I said, how he a fugitive? You let him out. How that work? Anybody that's caught what they say? Housing them, they're gonna be looked at. How you let him out of there? He ain't break out. Okay, so if he a fugitive, he had assistants, who let him out? The computer? Somebody, hey, listen, man. Somebody got to go down with this, lady. Lady, we're gonna have to lock you up and put you up in here. Then again, you'll be out the next day. Based on how these people running up out of here, man. This ain't no jail, nothing. This is a hotel, a very poor one on top of that. Oh my goodness. Somebody gotta go. Could you imagine if we start locking up the sheriff? If the inmates keep getting out, we lock up the sheriff. It'd be more motivated to keep that shit under guard. That's what I'm saying, man. We'd be locking them up. All right, you come on. What's up, Colorado? Shout out to you, man. All right, JUV says marching season coming soon. Who you excited for? The marching season, man. I love St. Aug, man. I think St. Aug does it. There's quite a few bands out there, man, but St. Aug is still the top, man. I love watching them play, man. It's like they perfected it, man. They elevated all of it. And they got some other really good bands out there, but man, St. Aug band, but that's like they created a standard for that, man. And everybody trying to catch up with them, man. They kind of perfected that thing, brother. All right. Let me see if we get a few more comments before I get on. Yeah, we got to figure it out. Jared says, Digital Underground's same song, Tell Them Q that Possum was letting them do whatever they want. No way we ain't buying the knock. Yeah, you know what, bro? This is true. And that's another thing, like we talked about with Kellen Moore, which a lot of people like Kellen Moore because they see him as a person that is, that the team likes, that he's agreeable. He's obviously intelligent because he gets to coordinate. And listen, all these Kellen Moore, with the talent he had. And like I always talked about, I was like, man, the Saints, I don't understand why. Well, then again, I do know why. Why the leadership was looked at that like that, as being aloof, as being kind of not serious about nothing. That wasn't just our perception. A lot of the people across the league seeing the Saints leadership as such, like it was a team that was just comfortable making money. They get pissed off at you when you start rocking their boat. Like when they get used, like for the last 20 years, let's just be honest. The last 20 years, they've been making a lot of money. They made more money in the last 20 years than they ever made before. But then you get up to a point where is it more difficult just to sit? We could just cruise control into this lane right here. We don't have to worry about, we could tell them every year that we playing to win the NFC South, like Loomis said in the press conference. You know, he said we covered it on Patreon. He said in the press conference, you know, I don't like goalies there. I don't like, you know, I'll go now. You know, when it's the NFC South, I'm not going to talk about expectations. I know. That's outside the building. You know, that's over there. You know, I know. That's over there. You know, that's somebody else. They're not qualified. You know, we have inspirations and we have goals. We got goals, and that's us. Them other guys, they're talking about expectations. But listen here, let me tell you, let me hit you to the game, Make It Loomis. The last several years, your goals mean shit, because whether they're goals, inspirations, or motivations, they all end to failure. So you trying to separate them like that don't do a damn thing for us. Because you better care what these people think out here, because you ain't buying them tickets by yourself. So whatever the Who Dat Nation's expectations are, they beat your goddamn goals. Bottom line. Because they control your purse strings. Checkmate. So that's why this is happening. You got a new coach because of the Who Dat Nation, not because of him. Don't y'all dare try that. And I'm going to remind them all the time that it wasn't him that kicked that dude out of here. It was you. You stopped showing up. You turned them off. You stopped listening. You stopped buying the BS. And that's why this guy is here, because you forced a hand. If you didn't, you would still have Dennis Allen sitting up here. Being non-accountable, tearing up his own team, sitting up there at interviews saying that I didn't fail. With a straight, stupid ass face. I didn't fail. They just didn't want me anymore. This kind of guy. So in the end, man, the bottom line is the who dominates and controls the industry. It is you, mighty Who Dat Nation. That's why I call you the mighty Who Dat Nation, because you're patient and good. But when the time comes, you put your foot down and say, you know what? Enough is enough. And that's what you did. And that's why I got to give you a round of applause. That's victory. Let me tell you what accountability means. Accountability means I'm going to keep my money in my account. That's what that means. And then when they start saying, oh, what's going on here? We got to change, baby. Thank you. That's you. All that gobbledygook about unqualified. Only thing you need to know about qualifications is that you got the money. And if I say no, your ass don't get none of it. That's accountability, because that money stays in my account. That is my ability. So shout out to y'all for you doing what you doing and making sure that we be about the business of accountability, which leads to success. So shout out to you guys. Bottom line. All right. Anyway, let me keep it moving, man. We about to get the hell on the bottom here. Slim says everywhere Kellen Moore has been is the top 5 offense. Dude really knows his offense. Indeed, he got something to work with here, bro. Telling you. Cap says, and let's not even say what we think about the Pelicans. Well, listen, that's also changing. I've been talking about that. They had a guy did something, talked about moving the Pelicans, some idiot reporter. You know, you got to bat them down every now and again. But there was some report out there talking about the Pelicans need to relocate, all this kind of stuff. Pelicans ain't going nowhere. They got paperwork. They tied to the city. They ain't going nowhere. And when she do sell them, it'll be an agreement in there where it ties into the city a lot longer. They're motivated by money. which means that Joe Dumars is here because he is the most, he's the most credentialed administrator the Pelicans organization ever had. He's a top 50 NBA Hall of Famer. He also won a championship as an administrator. So he knows, he's been there as a player and an exec. That dude is the most credentialed administrator they ever had. So you got that going on for you. You know, he can't fire the coach. He would have got Willie out of here, but Gail wants Willie to be here. So he just builds a team, gives it to Willie and say, here you go, now go win. And if Willie can't win, he'll say, see, I tried to work with him. He couldn't do it. So he just giving Willie enough room to kind of get his own self up out of here. You see? So, I mean, the guy is headed in the right direction. He also must pay attention to his help staff. Like Kellen Moore hired this guy, they got to do the same thing. But both teams are headed in the right direction. They really are. And that's because of you. You did the same thing you did with the Saints, you did with the Pelicans. And I'm just merely saying that there's an element here where we don't have to just be going all for all the nonsense that these people do. Nobody does that for anything full time. You got to eventually start using this and say, hey, man, I got power. I'm not advocating my power, man, to these people. And they're not even representing us in the correct fashion. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. This asshole sitting up here talking sporty to us. Like we ain't like you paying me to watch you. Oh, no. Watch this. And look what happened. So they get raw in their ass about it. But at the same time, you got power. Don't be afraid to use it. That's the bottom line. You run all of this. Once you start realizing that, man, things going to change fast. They are changing right now, by the way. All right. Anyway, this is Don. He said you got to smack the gum. Yeah, that's right. You got to smack the gum with Willie. Yeah, with old Loomis. Yeah, but they got it aimed in the right direction. Think about it, fam. Because once it was a twofold thing, a pincer attack. Once you got Dennis the Possum out of here, he took it. The quarterback could not exist without his climate. You remember all the stuff that was going on? Like he would protect him all the time. I'm like, why is this guy protecting him? He's messing with the backups to keep Spencer off of him and putting Haener in between. And then when Carr gets hurt, he flip-flops him. You know, why are you doing that? Why don't you want the guy to feel the pressure of the competition? Who does that? This is a football player making all this money. He needs to feel competition so he stays on his job. He tried to protect the guy. So obviously it made common sense to me. Once the coach got fired, the quarterback was out of here. He could not stand in the face of the Who Dat Nation. Do you understand what kind of skillet he was in? With this team, he made the decision to do it. He had no protection. No protection. Ain't nobody was going to protect him, especially when the other guy picking the quarterback of the future. He did the only thing that made sense. Is to go and leave. So, I mean, it was a twofold pincer attack. So the Who Dat Nation made it pop. Jaden says, Q, do you think Kellen Moore can? Yeah, he could. That's a possibility, man, for real. He got all these players. You got if the line, and this is ifs. We got to see what the backups will do because my concerns are still with the backups. Like, how good are the backup tackles? Like, we have an issue at tackle. How good are we with these guys? Josh Ball and the other guy. You know, Barry Wesley or whoever these guys. These are unproven guys. How good are we with these guys as backups at the tackle position? If something were to, these backup offensive linemen, how good are they? Because we went through this last year, right? So we have some concerns, but outside of the Saints still have very much a lot of talent that most people can't compete with. Alvin Kamara is still a phenomenal player. The Saints are fortified in the running back room. If Kendre Miller has a slip up in his injury situation, like if he gets hurt again, you got Devin Neal, Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and others, right? So you got guys there. Hopefully they sign Noah Fant to bring in to fortify the tight end room, give Matavo an opportunity to work his way in there because he should be something for you next year based on how he does this year. The defense has an influx of talent that they added there, especially defensive linemen that Coach Staley added to help with the pressure, stopping the run and putting pressure on people. Got a unique mix there, special teams. So most certainly he could, and they have underdog status. Everybody picked the Saints, say they got it. Some people say the Saints got the worst depth chart in the NFL. I'm like, man, are you kidding? Ain't no way in the world you got all these Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Elvin Kamara, and all these players here that we got on this team, and that's worse than what other teams got. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. But it simply is what it is, right? All right, thank you. Vibin says, Q, it's just good to hear Coach talk about sports analytics. Indeed, man, sports analytics, when you hear people sit up there and they talk about sports analytics, well, the Tom Rath was talking about, he was talking analytics, but what really got me is the fact that he started talking about the mindset of players. Like, for instance, you can't, fam, and listen, we talk about this all the time. You know, I'm a person that always talk about mind over matter. Mind over matter. And I say your mindset, how you think, controls what happens in your life. You know, when we talk about when I talk about relationships with the family members. Now, I ain't do this in a while, but when we have our talks and we talk about relationships, and I tell you all the time that you have to look in the mirror, because whatever you getting is what you giving, and that you can't get nothing that you are not. How can I phrase this correctly so that people get this? You hear the saying that you get what you give, right? That's very accurate, because you can't get what you don't already got. Did you catch that? What I mean by that is, whatever you want to get in this world, this is how this reality works. This is game from experience from a man as myself. I'm telling you, you can't get what you don't possess naturally. So if you're a person out there and you're looking for a relationship, you're trying to get with a certain person, you're not going to get that person unless you possess the qualities that that person has. So if that means that you got a shape or a job or money, whatever the case, you have to change how you think to draw what you don't have. You have to literally become that. You have to possess those qualities to draw that to you. That's how that works. You're not going to get it. And if you luck up in the percentage, there's always an exception to the rule, but it don't trump the rule. You might get it, luck up and get it, but you won't be able to keep it. It will leave you because you don't have what it takes to keep it there. You don't have the attraction needed. It has to be in relationships. There's an attraction. Either it's an attraction that you have to have so that you bring it to you. It's almost science. It's almost like science when you talk about attraction and all this other stuff. These are scientific terms that's explained by how at the great depthness of what you are as an individual, as a being. But mind trumps everything. It really does. The Most High gave you this. And you have a certain amount of corrections that you have to work on. So don't let vanity and greed and gluttony and all these other things obscure you from making the corrections that you need to have so you can be the very best person on this planet while you're here. That's why you're here. You're here to perfect yourself, even though perfection, some people see it as a illusion. But you put here to be the best version of yourself. That's why you're here, and you have to make those corrections. Nobody can do it except for you. Mind over matter. And when Tom Rath said in this article that he has to train the players in terms of, he said, mental toughness, because if I got a guy here who believes that he's injury prone, guess what's going to happen to him? Guess what's going to happen to him? He's going to keep getting injured because that's in his mindset that he's an injury prone player. He's already emotionally damaged in that way of thinking. So mind over matter, man. Mind over matter. Your mind controls all of that which is in your world, not in mine, but in yours. That's how the principles work. You control what you can within your world. And it's all predicated on this. You get this together. Watch how that change. That's real game. That's truth. That's truth talk. Anyway, I'm get ready to get out on that. Mr. Domsell was so relieved that Carr retired. He was making you dread the upcoming season. Indeed, man. We got that guy out of here, man. Richard says Moore was a good hire and maybe changes Loomis' legacy. If Moore gets a Super Bowl, Loomis will be in the hall. It does change this thing. And the weirdest thing is when the success happened, the people going to forget. That's why I said what I said, because they're headed in the direction, but you were the one that did it. They're going to omit you out of it. Watch. They're not going to talk about the fact that the family members forced them to fire that guy to get somebody else. And then the guy turns the team around. They have success. They're going to mention all that. They're just going to move you to the side like he made the goddamn decision. That's not what happened. They're going to romanticize it, which pretty much means lie about it. But you forced him out of there and that quarterback who was no good. You moved both of them guys out of the way. You did that. Watch. You think it's a game? Watch. We see that. All right. What's up, T Dirt? Shout out to my dog, T Dirty. DJ Field Cole, shout out to you, man. We just talking some real shit tonight. Mr. O says, wow, that thumbnail had me worried. Haener must feel thrilled. Nah, it's all good, man. It's just what it is. Kellen Moore's being fair. He's allowing Haener to compete with Rattler and Shough. You know, now it doesn't mean that Haener's going to climb the hierarchy in terms of outclassing either a Shough or a Rattler. It's a small percentage chance he is. They got a lot of people out here that like Jake Haener. That think Haener could do it. Well, listen, he the most experienced guy, right? So let's see what he can do, right? I wouldn't put my damn money on it. I'll tell you what. All right, but anyway, man, listen, let me get ready to get out here. I appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. Much love to the fam, man. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself tonight, man. Listen, we're going to be back later on. I know the Saints I think tomorrow they got some training camp stuff going on Sunday. We're going to do a brief stream tomorrow. We also have the Pelican post-game report going on our PPR stream. We're going to talk some Pels tomorrow night as well. DC and Lex is going to be in full effect on that as well. And we're going to keep this training camp talk going with the Saints, man, because listen, this team, I really do think that this team is going to be a lot better than a lot of these people are indicating. I think the Saints are going to be a lot better. I think they're a lot better than 5 wins that we seen last year. I see them as a better team, and I think they're going to, I ain't going to say much shock people, you know, but I guess for those other people, they're going to jump on a jock when they start seeing them competitive. But like I said, man, this team has a lot of talent. It was not just injuries. It was non-accountability by a bad coach who had no idea what he was doing. And that will kill a really good team fast when you don't have no leadership. Let's just keep it all the way funky. So in the end, I think the Saints are going to win more than 5 games with an agreeable schedule. No real serious cold games involved. They had a different mentality health-wise, and I know it takes a while to see what's going on, but man, I'm looking forward to this, man. This is all the stuff that we've been yammering about the last couple of years. What's up, Gundam? Shout out to my brother Gundam. What's up, brother Damien? Shout out to you, man. Good to see y'all in the chat, man. We in here, man. It's Poppy 504. Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you as well, man. Listen, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Y'all have a really good night, man, and I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow on the stream, man. We're gonna talk some more black and gold as well. Much love. Who dat? Hit that like button for me, man. If you're not a sub up to the coma. We keeps it real deal, Holyfield. And we'll be back talking most Saints tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, fam, we get Noah Fant under contract. How about that? Let's throw that out in the chat to get Noah Fant under contract. You know, you have him and Juwan Johnson there and Matavo, you know, and Stahl and all these guys. That would really be a big help to the Saints. So hopefully we can get that done tomorrow as well. And that'd be some good news for Sunday, right? All right, I'm out of here. Much love, fam. Who dat to you? Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a who dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I first ditched big wireless and started using Mint Mobile way back in 2019. Back then, you could get premium wireless for only $15 a month. Today, Mint Mobile's premium wireless has gone up by... Okay, wow, that's it, zero. It's gone up $0 a month since 2019. That doesn't seem fiscally responsible to me, but again, you're welcome. And I'm not an accountant. Hate math, always hated math. True story, I was in math 10A when I was in 12th grade.
Being amazing is uncomplicated with Tiege Hanley's simplified skincare system. Here's how it works. Go to Tiege.com, pick your system, and get handsome. 3 simple steps. Wash, scrub, and moisturize. It's that simple.
Guys, go to Tiege.com and get started today.
To be a therapist, in my opinion, is one of the most humbling things ever.
A platform like BetterHelp is very important because it allows access to affordable mental health care.